Hachette Audio presents The Abortion Companion, an affirming handbook for your choice and your journey. Written and read by Becca Rea-Tucker. For everyone who has shared their story with me, and for my Maxine. Welcome! In case you've never heard anyone talk about their abortions before, hi, I'm Becca, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm one of the 1 in 4 women in the United States who have had or will have an abortion in their lifetime. Yes, 1 in 4. I know the statistic might be surprising, but that's because anti-abortion stigma tries so hard to make us believe we're alone in our experiences. Note, trans men and non-binary people have abortions too. I found out I was pregnant for the first time when I was in college. Psst, you will hear my abortion story later. I knew right away that I didn't want to continue the pregnancy. With the support of my then boyfriend and an independent clinic, I had an abortion. The morning after taking the abortion pills, I finally felt like I could breathe again. It was the most intense feeling of relief I could conjure. I was certain that having an abortion was the right choice for me, and I never wavered on it. I was and am proud of how I cared for myself. I prioritized my life, my dreams. Still, the anti-abortion stigma was so powerful and so pervasive that I told almost no one about my abortion for years. I lived in fear of someone finding out. What if they judged me? What if they told everyone else? Over time, I connected with other people who have had abortions, mostly online at first, and realized that I was very much not alone. I was so inspired by the compassion reproductive rights activists extend to others who have abortions and to themselves. I was energized by their unapologetic support, and eventually I decided to start sharing my own abortion story publicly. It took me a while, but I made it. Having abortions is very common, but unfortunately, so is experiencing shame about it. If you've had an abortion, or you're contemplating one, and you've been lugging around the shame equivalent of some kind of large hiking backpack filled with rocks, I understand. The hardest part isn't always the abortion itself. It might be being pregnant when you don't want to be, hearing someone you love speak negatively about people who have abortions, or the isolation that comes from not feeling like you can talk about your experience. This book is here to remind you that it's absolutely okay to have abortions and that you are not alone. I hope it meets you wherever you are in your journey, whether you had an abortion 10 days ago or 10 years ago, whether you have an appointment scheduled soon or are simply considering your options. I wrote it to create a comfortable and affirming place for you to sort through your feelings and heal from the wounds inflicted by stigma. I like to think of it as an antidote to shame. Everyone deserves unconditional compassion and support throughout their abortion experiences, but many of us are met with judgment instead. And even when we do receive support, it's often conditional, only given if we act appropriately remorseful, or if our experience fits in with one of the few narrow circumstances some people deem acceptable for having an abortion. But you don't have to regret or justify your abortion to want or benefit from support. I hope this book helps you feel confident in all your reproductive choices. It's important to note, I don't worry about convincing anti-abortion people of anything. Many of them will continue to be anti-abortion regardless, and they are not the important ones in this conversation. This book is written specifically for us, people who have abortions. We deserve so much better, and we can have it. There's a lot of bad information about abortion out there, like a lot. It can be hard to find genuine support. If you Google abortion support, a lot of anti-abortion trash disguised as help pops up. You'll find results with neutral to positive sounding names, like Her Choice to Heal or Abortion Recovery Guide Workbook. Sounds good, right? They're not. On closer examination, many of these resources prey on people's need for support while offering half-truths and further shaming. This shit is insidious and intentional. And even when it's not overtly anti-abortion, there's a lot of half-hearted conditional support out there. Take, for example, the slogan, "Abortion should be safe, legal, and rare." It's not rare, has never been rare, and doesn't have to be rare. This kind of support translates into something like, okay, yes, we'll support you, as long as you act appropriately remorseful. We'll support you, as long as you're not using abortion as birth control. This isn't a thing. We'll support you, as long as you regret it. There's an overwhelming message that abortion should be an absolute last resort, and there's only one appropriate way to feel about it: ashamed. But you don't owe anyone shame in exchange for support. There absolutely are good resources out there. I'll share some later. But it's hard to find them when they're buried under so many bad ones. This book is here to help you process your abortion experiences on your own terms, outside of the stigmatizing scripts we've been given. And I want you to know, this isn't a sad book. Sadness can be part of our abortion experiences, but the experience is usually a lot more nuanced. There's no particular way you should feel about your abortions, and here you'll find acceptance for all of your feelings, complicated or not. Think of this book as your very own pro-abortion hype woman to replace the negative voices that might be floating around in your head. It's a resource you can turn to whenever you need it, whether you're looking for information, comfort, or simply a reminder that you're not alone. We'll start by exploring the history of abortion in the United States, the current legal landscape, and the barriers, bans, and restrictions that make access more difficult, by design. This book uses guided exercises, self-reflective prompts, meditations, and affirmations to validate and support the full spectrum of abortion experiences. You'll also find tools to help you speak with your family and friends, ask for support, and actually accept it when it's offered. My dream is for you to pass this book around. When someone tells you they need an abortion or need help with processing one, you'll have a recommendation ready. I hope that it helps you feel at peace with your path and confident in your decisions. I hope that you'll feel comfortable talking about abortion without all the unnecessary shame. There's nothing wrong with having abortions, and I'm so proud of you. Guiding lights. Core beliefs that shape how I talk about abortion and the people who have them. Abortion is common and normal. People who have abortions deserve support, not shame or stigma. There is no particular kind of person who has abortions. All kinds of people have them, in all kinds of circumstances. There's no one-size-fits-all way to have an abortion, and there's no one-size-fits-all way to feel about your abortion. Any feelings you have about your abortion are 100% okay, even if they are complicated, even if they are conflicting. Any reason for having an abortion is the right reason. Our right to safe abortion care in our communities is inherent and non-negotiable. I use non-gendered language because people of all genders have abortions. I use the term pro-abortion instead of pro-choice. By saying abortion when we mean abortion, it helps to normalize people's experiences and decrease shame due to stigma. Pro-choice isn't meaningful if there isn't actually a choice due to restrictions, bans, and barriers, or if all choices aren't equally respected. We have always had and will always have abortions. About abortion: science, history, and context. Abortion 101. There's so much misinformation out there about abortion. Let's take a minute to go through the details so we're all on the same page. So, what is an abortion? Like, literally. Abortion 101 content has been reviewed by Dr. Ghazala Moyetti, abortion provider and board chair of Physicians for Reproductive Health. An abortion is the termination of a pregnancy. A spontaneous abortion is when a pregnancy ends on its own, also called a miscarriage or early pregnancy loss. An induced abortion is when a person intentionally ends a pregnancy. Spontaneous and induced abortions are treated medically in the same way. We don't use the terms elective or therapeutic abortion anymore because they're stigmatizing and not medically accurate. A medication abortion is when medications, often abortion pills, are used to expel the pregnancy from the uterus. When we say abortion pills, we're generally talking about the combination of mifepristone and misoprostol.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?